I had modified it a little bit so I can do flat eyes and regular eye jigs. And for my screw tubes, I use the Mustad hook, but it's a 28-degree bend. So what I do is I just take all my hooks before I start, and then I just kind of tweak it. I bend it just a little bit more, so it's instead of being less of an angle, it's more of an angle. And then I just lay it into the mold. I'll drop a screw lock in there, just like that. I don't really care if it's at the top or not, but then just close it and just pour it. This one I like to pour a little slower. Get into the mold. This one's kind of a bad one. I got a lot of flashing on there, but we can clean that up afterwards. That's more on the eye. We can clean all that off. So that's basically my, with this I'll cut off the excess because I don't want to break that loose and get that screw all wobbly on there. So I just usually just take a pair of side cutters, or in this case some heavy duty shears, and cut it off. But that's it. That's how I make my screw tubes. And obviously I can't get this big hook in the smaller ones, it just gets in the way. So I'll use a little bit smaller hook. This happens to be a 4/0. I'll use 4 and 5/0 in the bigger ones. Remember I said I line it up, get it lined up, and then I just kind of tweak it a hair just to bring it up a little bit. And you can just lay it right in there. Take your screw lock, drop it in. Let's see if we can get a better pour this time. I'm doing this, it's kind of windy out today, and I'm doing it outside just because, well, I hate pouring lead inside. So these ones are not coming out as good as normal. Normally I get a lot better, cleaner looking ones. And see how it moved there? I don't always pitch them when they do that. I'll just kind of line it up, squeeze it a little bit, and that tightens that up so it doesn't move. And then I'll cut this off. But what once I powder paint them, then it kind of locks everything in. The powder paint actually really helps strengthen them. And so that's pretty much it. Do a little powder painting on our jigs now, a little cleanup. So you can see here there's a little bit of extra lead on there from, so I'll just kind of clean that up a bit. Doesn't have to be perfect. Powder painting my jig heads. I try to keep most of the paint on the head itself. I try to keep it off the wire keeper. I find that if it's gets all over the wire keeper, you got to kind of clean it off. So something like that. If the eyes fill in, I'll clean out the eyes a little bit. Really not much to these. You can powder paint them whatever color you want. I just like green pumpkin or black personally. And that's what we got. So you can see that one I filled in the eye. I just got way too much paint on there. Once it cools off, I'll take a knife or eye buster and clean it out good before I bake them. So you can see I clean the eye out. And like I said, if you don't clean all that paint out of the eye before you bake them, Man, it's a bear to get that eye buster and pocket knives and everything you can think of trying to clean the eye, and it's still tough as could be. So once you get your heads poured and painted, the next thing you want to do is bake them. I bake them at 350 for about 10 minutes. I use a toaster oven, but you could also do it in a regular oven. It usually doesn't drip or anything. It doesn't smell. But by baking them, it makes that paint so much more durable. Well, that's it for the my screw tubing and how I make them. You can vary the hooks. You don't necessarily have to use that same hook. You could use almost any EWG hook will work.